yeah, good news, bad news for Destiny employees. But I think this is echoing what we've been seeing from the start of the year. Layoffs, layoffs, layoffs. I think companies are now tightening their belts. We are going through a revolution in terms of, AI, you know what I mean, in terms of making things more efficient. So, and if competitors are all embracing this new technology, it does make sense that, heads of companies do take restock, try and trim the fat and make sure that the companies or the employees are actually bringing out some more efficient work, especially when it comes to things like Destiny 2. I mean, Destiny 2's been out for a long time now, hasn't it? We've got
Yes.
Helldivers 2 now. I'm going to start seeing a shift. The people want something different. I think that might be the case. You know,
Yeah, I think the thing is Destiny 2 was always doing well and then I think the biggest problem at Bungie is the higher ups, it's the management, right? I think they are making really bad decisions. They've got a bunch of yes men around them who just
mm,
think what's working is working. They definitely rested on the success of Destiny 2 and got lazy.
mm,
And fans want something refreshing, something different. They've been loyal to the brand of Destiny for years and years. You cannot have a game be as successful as this for so long and then fuck up its culmination, right? That's just devastating. It's Matrix 3 level devastating, for these
mm,
Destiny players. And we've spoken about Destiny's financials, about how they missed their financial targets massively. And one of the big things from PlayStation in the takeover is they wanted to keep talent, which the management have been letting go to try and reduce costs, which will have pissed Sony off. And at the same time, it's like the get out clause for Sony is if you miss your financials by a certain amount, we take over. You no longer run independently. And that is far approaching. And I think that's what's best
yeah,
for Bungie. And people don't realize that Totoki-San coming in, he's the chief financial officer. So he
mm,
knows what he's talking about when it comes to money. So he is holding Bungie to account. Jim Ryan is coming. They've spent a lot of money on them. They've got some of the highest numbers in Sony's development community in terms of employees.
mm,
So they've got to get it right. So when your DLC comes out and you're so far behind on your expected revenue, yeah, there's problems to be had. And I think he's probably went in there and he talked about, yeah, they are passionate. They are trying really hard. Accountability being the key word there. That's him saying straight away, management are not taking accountability at all for their bad decisions. They're putting it down to the developers. They're putting it down to the high expectations of fans who should have high expectations. You don't see Rockstar rushing a game or half-assing GTA 6 when they know there's never been a game with higher expectations than GTA 6 ever. You know, your closest ones are going to be like Last of Us Part 2 and Zelda 2, and they are millions of levels behind GTA 6 in terms of expectation.
mm,
But I think Totoki going in and he is a CFO, he's acting CEO on the PlayStation division. That's a big thing because he knows numbers, he knows finances. And I think Bungie, I should have put it as one of my predictions that Sony are going to take over and have control of Bungie by the end of the year. If this next and final DLC, the final shape, doesn't hit, woo, maybe it's a good thing Sony take over and Bungie become more efficient at what they're doing because they're delaying DLCs, they're not hitting targets. You got to fix up, man. So
yeah,
obviously their next big game, which is Marathon, will be live on PS5 and PC. And if it's Bungie, so we can imagine Marathon will actually be decent and it will do Helldive. It's so weird to say Bungie now. You'll do Helldivers 2 numbers, bro. But
that's
it should be
PvP, right? Is
expected
that
to more.
PvP?
Both, but it should be expected to
Both.
do more, you know.
Mm,
But yeah, it's not great for Bungie at the moment. And I think in this whole thing, I do, for somebody who doesn't even play Destiny, but I read a lot of what's going on at Bungie, I blame the management, hands down, 100%. Poor decision making, poor leadership, no leading by example from this management. There
mm,
probably are some that are trying, but a lot of them aren't. And it's been put down to the developers and the gamers' expectations, which is bullshit. So I'm happy Totoki went in and held them accountable, because that's how it should be. I think Jim Ryan, he spent a lot of money on them and he wasn't going to do that. But Totoki's gone in like, yo, fuck, you spoke about it this week. You love him. You love this guy because he's just saying it how it is and putting people to task, which is how it should be in the gaming industry.
Yeah, it should be, definitely. I mean, I'm just looking at the Steam numbers right now in terms of the peak players for the month of January, and like it's looking at what, 58,000. This is just Steam, obviously, but this time last year it was at 96,000. You know, a year before that you're looking at 78,000, so almost 80,000. So for it to drop almost by half, you know, for the same time in previous years, yeah, not looking good, not looking good. But yeah, it could just be fatigue. You know, it's time. Like you said, it's been around for about 10 years. Marathon is probably a good, you know, a nice new angle for them to take on, and obviously you'll just inspire the creators and the employees just to do something fresh, because it will get a bit boring doing the same thing, DLC for the same type of narrative, especially when it's not a new iteration for the game. So yeah, and with the likes of Helldivers, you know, even using a archaic engine, you know, which is ridiculous, you know, it's unheard of these days,
It was eight
and they're
years. That game
smashing
was
it.
in development for 8 years. So with
8 years.
Helldivers 2, the game was being made similar to the first game. And I think
Mm,
either Arrowhead or Sony saw and thought we could actually make this bigger and better. They restarted the game. They restarted development on it. But then people who played the original game
mm,
on PlayStation and PC, I think it's literally the same game but it's not same. It's different camera angle. That's all it is. But it's everything else is the
all
same.
right, okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
people are loving it, you know. And it's
yeah,
funny
yeah,
because it's had a knock-on effect because the original Helldivers numbers went back up as well for people to try the original
yeah,
one, which
yeah,
must have been a
understandable.
culture shock for them seeing the
Yeah.
complete different game style. They must have been like, "What the fuck?" But I said to you before launch that the
Yeah.
friendly fire feature is going to be absolute jokes for people, and it's the favorite thing for people, man. They love it because it adds so much risk to the game.
Mm,
You're not just
yeah,
like, this is boring. It's creating like more tactical like nuance in the game
yeah.
to try and not kill your enemies, and if you do, you burst out laughing about it. So the way it should
Yeah,
be, and Bungie should definitely be looking at the success of what is making Helldivers to a success and utilize it, you know. So I'm really excited to see more of Marathon, which I think we'll see in the next showcase. So let's
yeah,
see,
you're right.
man.
I didn't realize that Helldivers. Yeah, the first one was just like a completely different game. It was
Yeah, that's
isometric,
what I'm
isn't it?
saying.
Top down. You know, great decision. Great decision to be made. And can you actually flip back in the Helldivers too? Can you actually make it isometric?
Nah,
No,
nah,
it's just like,
nah, nah.
okay.
Dude, they're struggling enough with servers now. Don't make them break the fucking game, okay? Don't make them do a Bungie.
I'll blow the bell, mate. Sorry. I'll blow